kind of going to wait a little bit for people to show up here. So if they choose to see, I can't see who's on. So you guys are going to have to tell me if you're on Facebook. So you're going to have to tell me who you are because I can't read comments. At least I don't think I can. This is kind of new to me. But anyway, if anybody is watching, I'm deciding to do this live because I had a lot to say on a lot of things that had happened in my life growing up and to my kids as well. Because I really don't know where my last daughter is, so I figured I would kind of post this and kind of leave it here, and hopefully it gets to her. But I'm gonna be like starting on like from when I was adopted, in my situation at that time, on what I seen happen and where it is enlarged in my mind. So I just wanted to make this on here so this way you not only can um my kids see it, but also, there could be other people out there like me around there as well that can personally have like a hit home kind of thing to where they can, find an out, or if they want to contact me and need some help, I will lend an ear. But at any rate, I'm going to pretty much, it's been 2 minutes, so I'll start. I'm going to be looking up and down because I wrote notes. So here I go. Okay. What'll happen to me in my life before today and now, seen behind closed doors? Yeah, I had written it on March 15th, 2011. Okay. Well, when I was 3 months old, I was adopted to my foster family, Marsha. I will not leave any last names, but I'm just going to leave first names, and my aunt. My aunt made plenty of time for me, but Marsha, who never had time for me and was forever drinking, plus the fact that I had to do all the cleaning, get yelled at for all things that were not always my fault. Um, Part of the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of people that may have been around me that have may not been around me now. Granted, yes, on my Facebook I do have about a handful of my foster family, because I have let go of the past and try and move forward. I will admit, yeah, I kind of had a really rough upbringing, but I will continue. Um, I had to do all the cleaning and yet get yelled at for all things that were not always my fault. So I kept rebelling. And for kids, if you don't know what the word rebelling is, it's where you pretty much um, don't do as you're told. You basically, like, for example, you turn around and your parents tell you, or your adopted parents that tell you, or step, or whoever is part of your life that is giving you your raising, um, you turn around and you say, as a parent would say to their child, you are to do your chores, and they would rather tell you to your face, no, I don't want to, I'm not going to, and I don't feel it's feasible for me to. And then you go out and you go and do whatever you want. That's what rebelling is. Okay. In my life, to get by, all because I did not like the situation I was in, because, and I will get to that point. Also, met plenty of friends along the way growing up. One was Lady Wagner, which was a very, very close friend of mine growing up. Bless her soul, she has now passed away. Um, she would always give us like pies and things like that, and She had like a fenced graped area where it was like to the garage, and like basically like about here's the garage, and then you had like the middle of the fence, and it was from there. Um, she wa she was nice. Plus, my neighbor friend Heather, who lived pretty much up the road, um, she had a little bit of mental problems, but that was due to her upbringing as well. Um, when I was growing into childhood, I started to realize my family and who they are at that time. My foster mother, or not my foster mother, but my cousin, my two cousins actually, they know who they are, because we grew up together. Were my family who I also looked up to along with my other cousin. They we all there was three of us, four of us all in the house, plus my foster mom. I had like three cousins living with me. I know two of them are on my Facebook. Um, I got really close to them quite a bit because they were pretty much um, close to me. I mean, I grew up with them when I was a baby, and they pretty much we all grew together, and it it you get the gist. But anyway, they were more than my cousins. They treated me like we're family. Like even though we're cousins, it was kind of like we kind of acted all like sisters. And um, even though I never had any siblings at that time, I do have three brothers that live in Florida. We will get to that. They meant the world to me. Well, the first then at the time to leave as far as I can remember was my my one cousin. She went to some military that after that was my other cousin after her, and we both fought a lot, and I was always their things. I was always into her things like her lipstick, her perfume, or whatever I could get my hands on. Now, mind you, at that time, I was pretty much the age of, I don't know, three to five. So anybody that has kids, if you're like 3 to 5, you pretty much, they're in everything. So yeah, that was pretty much me a long time ago. Um, I wanted to be closer to them, to just be them, be with them only because I looked up to them, and they are family and all. But anyway, I could get close to her that I wanted because of the things we always clashed. Now, after my one cousin left, there was like two others, which was my Aunt Brenda's kids. And she pretty much it was her two kids that I kind of got close to because we had like kind of like a close but distant relationship, and we would bump heads quite a bit, and it was a lot for me to handle because it was more of I'll push you, but I'll bring you close, push you, bring you close. Now, I didn't like that feeling. So when she pushed me for the last time, I just kind of let go, because pretty much, I felt like, okay, I'm not needed. So I just let it go. Um, my other cousin, my two cousins which are on my Facebook, which I can mention, are Marcy and Tina. Um, they are my Aunt Brenda's kids, and they know they are on my list. So I don't mind mentioning this at all, because I take pride in, my past upbringing with them because I didn't know at the time that they were trying to give me like, lessons on life and pretty much, how to handle life at that situation. Um, I was like 5 or 6, and it didn't hit me until I was like around 8 or 9, or no, it was 7 or 8 when I think my cousin Marcy had left. I'm pretty sure it's around it's at least 6 or 7. Um, but yeah, she was even, giving me like tips on, what's going to happen, if you do this, or if you do this out of line, or this is what's going to happen. And, you're young, you don't realize, you're like, whatever, you're just saying that because it's you, you know, you're young, you pretty much think that. Um, so at any rate, the rest of the story is, let me find it. Me and my cousins, we all went to the beach playing in the sand. Was my best day. I had the greatest time because I still even remember, even though I have like a couple photos from that time. Um, but I do remember, bits and pieces of it. Um, I remember back then because when at the time everyone had their own space, I do what they wanted to a point as long as it was reasonable. And it was okay with my Aunt Brenda. Well, after that, my cousin Tina, I think, graduated and left the home. And it was just me and my cousin Marcy. I really got to know her because we were a lot alike. And I think that's why her and I bump heads now as like an adult. Me and her, we really bump heads. We kind of like, there's certain things that I like that she doesn't like. And then there's certain things that she likes that I don't like. So, you bump heads when you have the same idea and frame of mind. But when you put yourself out of that situation between one and the other, it's like, okay, I can relate. So at any rate, uh I think uh my cousin Tina, I think, graduated and left home. And then it was just me and Marcy. I really close to her because we were a lot alike in some ways. She would listen to her music and on vinyl. Back then it was on vinyl records. So um I would dance and jam out to the music with her, and I had a blast. With my foster mother got home before she got home. Um she would yell and fight with her all the time only because she was more lenient to allow me to stay up longer and be myself. They always bumped heads. Well, she got tired of her BS and left as well. I felt hurt and very less defenseless because when it was all me in the house, as far as kids are considered, which it was, um, I was okay with it. Well, my aunt at the time didn't do much like she used to, but we spent most of the time fishing and also got a little better at allowing me to stay up longer. Well, to me at that time, my aunt was like a mother to me. Yeah, my aunt Brenda was like I was like really close to her because I didn't have at that time I didn't have my like a real mother figure. And yeah, because I was, adopted and I didn't know what's going on, what my foster mother had told me about, my parents didn't want me or want anything to do with me, which was nothing but lies. All lies. Let me tell you, when you are adopted and they tell you that, I am telling you from experience, it is a lie. And believe me, when they tell you it, it is so downgrading and so frustrating. Wow. Yeah. So, anyway, I got really close, had a lot of like, what, da, da, da. Okay, so Sheila had left because of the problems that were going on in the household. And anyway, my Aunt Brenda, we went fishing. Um, uh, we went to carnivals, out to eat. We had a lot of fun then. After that, my foster mother went downhill to where they fought a lot, and it came to be mostly her bringing men in daily. Now, a lot of people, as far as my foster family, I applaud you for knowing bits and pieces of my end. But the parts that you did not know behind closed doors is that before um, my foster mother, or AKA Marsha, my foster mother, um, was when I was younger, she would always take me to bars. And the thing with that problem is back then you were allowed to take your kids to a bar until like a certain time, but not me. Um, I was around, I want to say maybe between I remember going out around, starting to go around 5 years old, and I would go to these bars with her. I can I can tell you exactly what area and places they were because I remember how to go there. I just don't remember the title of the place. But she would take me to these bars after school, and I would literally be at the bar doing my schoolwork. I remember pulling my schoolwork out of this bag and watching my foster mother out there or on the bar flirting with all these other guys, and then there would be these guys that would she would literally bring home. Now I know you guys didn't know this. This is why I wrote this blog, because I wanted, what my family to know, what they don't know. And plus, seeing the factors of how they treated me. And a lot of people out there have the same problem. So that's another reason why I'm bringing this and writing it. A lot of men in daily to take care of her certain area. And if you know what I mean, adults would know that. Um, my aunt would yell and scream at me, at her, or yell and scream at her, telling her that's a bad ethics, which it is, because if you're gonna if you're gonna be a parent to a child, okay, it's bad parenting. Your your needs and expectations should be to the child, your work, and to your child. Now, how I know this is because I am a mom. Okay, my constant ethics are to my family, and then whatever I'm doing in my house. That's being a parent. But that wasn't in her vocab then. She was so young minded, she didn't know how to be a parent, but there were certain times that she could be, but not all the time. Um, Bad ethics around kids, and yet she still did it anyway, which my foster mother did. She went to bars and brought men home after my aunt got sick. My aunt my aunt Brenda got sick with cancer, and so she couldn't, handle all the stress that was, coming into the home, and things like that. So she took a leave of absence and went on her own. She moved in with my aunt Gretchen at the time. Um, this is where we get into my aunt Gretchen. Now, before I mention this, I've pretty much let go of the past, um, because it was bad, and everybody. I mean, I was young, but she was also young too. You got a young mom trying to be a mom. I overlook it now because she's not that person anymore. And I've forgiven that part of her, and I've forgiven, the thing of the matter of it is when I started doing this, I forgave all my past. I forgave everybody. So, yeah. So, she went to move in with my foster aunt's house where I was picked on daily, which I was. I mean, yeah, let me just let you know some of the words that she had said. I mean, she would call me like, you know, really bad names. Because I'm trying to make this, very um, not so adulty because there are kids that do watch this. So anyway, she called me a lot of things that which hurt my mentality, physically and mentally in mind. When things were never went her way, where I was around about 9 years old, she and I talked, and my aunt could not handle the way she was seeing me be treated. It hurt her mentality. She told me herself, which she did. She and I were in the bathroom. We were talking about how I was being treated and how I was being forced to read when I didn't want to read. I was being forced to, you know, eat things I didn't really want to eat, and it really pretty much got to her psyche. It really mentally hurt her. So she didn't really like that, and so she was telling me, all about that and the way I was, physically treated, and all that way. Um Give me 1 minute. I need a drink. Okay. Um so she told me she was moving out. I of course didn't want her to leave, which I didn't. But she knew she had to. And so then she was gone, just like that. Then it was just me and my foster mother. I took a hold of my cousin Marcy's room, which is the last place I was at in that house at that time. Um, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I liked it anyway. It was more my style anyway. Plus, it made me feel closer to her in a way, even though she was not there. But I still had a blast when I moved to my aunt Brenda's room, which was awesome because it had a window. Oh, I love that window because I was so mad about the way I was being treated. I was being treated wrongly so badly, and I didn't like it because of the way that, people would order me around, and really make me feel crappy, and I didn't like it. So I would always run away from home, and I would go like to my friends' house where, they would actually show me what being a parent is, and being around them, really molded me to be who I am today. So that was more than that was more closer to the back where all the air would come in the window. It had a lot of really good breeze. I got more older, and my foster mother fought with me a lot of times. Um, Things mainly due to me not her. Um, uh, not her blood child, basically. Because she could never have kids, and then she met this guy in 1988 when I was 8 years old. He was a nice guy. I tried everything to get rid of him, which, when you're a child, you try to nitpick, you try to not listen, you try to just be yourself and just isolate yourself to the point where you don't want to be around that person because you just don't want to, because don't you don't want to socialize. You just don't want to deal with that person. And that was pretty much me, at the age of 8. I didn't want to deal with this guy. I didn't care to get to know him. That was just me. So, only thing I didn't want him doing was ordering me around. So, we had our good days, we had our bad days. It was on my side, or it was on his side, basically his idea. I thought he was not a bad guy after all. And then back in 1989, I got run over by a car. No thanks to my ex friend at the time. My friend Nicole and I remember like it was yesterday. I had gotten ran over by a car, and I was being picked on school, in Piper Burley Elementary, which we will get to that here soon. Um, to where they made me really feel really low and really wrongly. Um, and I would always go home, covered in, my face covered wetly in tears. And I was so emotionally distraughted to the point where I couldn't speak right. I was so, you know, hurt, basically. So I couldn't see, 2 feet in front of me because, my eyes are so welled up and, I had tears running down my face constantly. So I had her, hey, can you keep an eye on the road because I can't see? I'm crying so much. And what had happened was I got told, well, there's no cars. And then at this point, her and I were having an argument. And instead of going, okay, there's a car coming, can you wait a minute? She told me there were no cars coming. I ended up crossing the road and I got hit. I got ran over, hit the windshield, and flew 4 feet to the other side of the street. Then ran me to the hospital to do surgery on my right leg. Uh, I see my foster family, my cousins, my real dad, bless his soul, my dad Douglas, bless his soul, and my mom Robin, bless her soul as well. I was so happy to see them. I never really wanted this day to end. My dad told my foster mother this is her fault because he was sad and mad at the same time, and he was scared for me only because he thought I was going to die. He really did. Um, I had moved in with my dad when I was 18, and that's also going to be part of the story. But I'm gonna probably make it in like Sacraments. Um, but when I get to that part about my elementary school, which is going to cut this first part off, and then I will do another one behind it. Um, Pretty much. Okay, 28 minutes. Okay, I'm doing good here. Um, so yeah, my dad actually really thought I was gonna die. And he thought because I got ran over by a car, he thought, well, this is all your fault. You weren't watching her. You didn't go get her from school. You didn't make her feel, that, these people were whatever, because my dad didn't really know what was going on at the time. So he was just rattling off stuff. And so he got really scared and really worried about his baby girl because to him, I was his baby girl. I was his baby girl. I was his pride and joy. You name it. All my family will tell you that is exactly what they would say. So yeah, that was pretty much what had happened there. Um uh my foster mother hated me being happy by my own happiness. She stopped all contact with my dad by but anyway, after all that in and out of doctor's appointments because of because of the cast and no fun no more, got too caught up a lot on my shows, or I got caught up on my shows, excuse me. Um, my foster grandmother, Lord knows she was worse than her because she was all, I felt, more she was jealous of certain things that I would do, or she would be like really rude and really nasty to me. And it was always when I wasn't around people and it was just her and her husband. It was kind of, mentally abusing, and I didn't like it. So, yeah. Um, she was downright rude to me, was emotionally abused by this woman on a daily occurrence. It's not funny, and it really wasn't. Well, time went on, and my foster mother fell in love with this guy named Billy. And everything on her end got a little better, not much behind his back, but doable to deal with. So time went on. She married this guy named Billy. We'll call him Billy K. And which was hell to begin with. He was like, even though I was underage, but I I did not like him on in that way. I was basically being when I started getting older in my teens. Um, I'm guessing, he wasn't getting certain things, and he would come to me for it, and that's not what an adult does. It was very private things, and that's something that you don't do with an adult and a child. I was raped by my ex-boyfriend at the age of 12. I was anywhere between 11 and 12 at the time, with him lying to get his way and to get, yeah. Um uh, First love was my first love in elementary school was Daniel, who I seen him every day at school, but then he got older and not much my type no more. I also had a lot of good friends I went to school with in middle school, which who seen and heard and went on around me or knowing it from me. That was when I went to Wayne Middle School. Well, I'm gonna stop and put part two because now I don't want to turn around and make it too long. So, okay, I'm going to end it and I'm gonna post it, and my kids will be in part two. Okay, see you soon.